It's time for the Doug Garrison Show. You've probably heard of Lake Superior Hospice. Well, we're going to find out more about what they do. Have you ever been to Lake Bancroft in Ishpeming? There's a group of people planning a restoration. And there's a big powwow coming up at Northern's campus. We get the details. And the Three Divas perform. Hey, that's us! With one more. Stick around. The Doug Garrison Show starts now.
Tell the host 2 minutes. Stand by live tape. Lighting to show level, please. Confirm front of house sound, PFL. Roll tape on masters, talented places. Alright, let's clear the set. Cue John music, open stage mics, standby effects, standby CG. Standby to open on 3, 2. Alright folks, let's have a good show. Stand by, roll it in.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. We've got a great crowd down here at Up Front and Company. Come and join us. We tape on Tuesday nights. We'd love to have you. Welcome to our viewers at home on Charter Channel 12 and Fox UP. Well, winter has returned. I don't think it surprises anybody. I'm thinking back into the 1990s. If you were living in Marquette then, I don't remember the exact years, but we set a record for snowfall one year, and then the very next year we broke that record. So 2 years in a row, we set a record for snowfall. And if my memory serves me right, most of that snow fell in March. So I think that we could still have plenty of snow, and that's a good thing because what I understand is we need snow for when it melts in the spring that we don't have those drought conditions. And as long as we've got 1 inch of snow on the ground, we can't golf anyway, so we might as well let it snow. I'm glad to see it happen. I want to talk for a minute about something I don't understand, and I'm going to limit it to just a couple things I don't understand, because if we got into everything I don't understand, we'd be here all night. And I'm not going to use my Doug face for this, because we tried the Doug face, and it turns out every time I make a Doug face, regardless of the emotion, the face always looks the same. And you might want to try that at home. See if you can make different faces for different emotions. Maybe you're more expressive than I am. I couldn't do it. So I'm just going to tell you what I don't understand. And here's something I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand the popularity of Dancing with the Stars. Why we get excited about B-list celebrities and the Bristol Palins of the world ballroom dancing, I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. I know it's popular, but I do not understand that. But what I'm thinking about right now is something I don't understand, and it relates to something that happened this week. Did you vote on Tuesday? The Republican primary was in Michigan on this Tuesday. Did you get a chance to vote? What I don't understand is the deal with this vote. Anyone, it's an open election, anyone could cast their ballot to determine who the Republicans are going to put on the November ballot to face President Obama. If you are chairman of the Michigan Democratic Party, you would have a say in who the Republicans put up to run for president. Now, I don't understand that. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And if you understand it, please contact me. You can email me from our website and let me explain to me why that makes sense. It's entirely possible that there's a lot of Democrats out there voting for someone that they want to see face Obama that isn't who the Republicans would like to see the candidate. So it's something that I definitely don't understand. And beyond that, I want to know who pays for this election. You know, back in the old days, again, I'm referring to days before some of your time, they used to have conventions where they'd get all the people in the party together and they'd determine who their candidate was going to be at these conventions. Then they started having these primary elections. My guess is that the taxpayers of the state of Michigan pay for this election to help the Republicans, or in some cases Democrats, determine who their candidate's going to be. Personally, I don't want my tax dollars going to help this political party determine their candidate. If they want to pay for the election, go ahead, I'll vote. Or if they want to go back to the old system of conventions, that's up to them. But I don't want to pay as a taxpayer to help them determine their candidate. It's their business entirely. So I don't understand Dancing with the Stars. I don't understand how anybody can vote to determine the Republican candidate. And I don't understand why taxpayers have to pay for this election that determines the Republican candidate. What I do understand is that we've got a lot of neat stuff on tonight's show. We've got things that you're going to find interesting, informative, and entertaining. So I'm done with my misunderstandings. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right. Thank you. Good job. Howard. Where's that other camera? The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Bell Hospital and Bell Rehab Services. Safely take the road to physical recovery with Bell Rehab Services. And by Iron Bay Computer and Design. Iron Bay gives you the quality and service you demand. And by Peninsula Glass and Auto Sales for complete glass repair and replacement for everything from auto and home to heavy equipment and a great selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. See Peninsula Glass and Auto Sales on US 41 in Ishpeming. And by Checker Transport, now booking weddings and special events for 2012. Visit checkertransport.com.
When you buy a used car, it should come with a good dose of peace of mind.
That's why at Riverside, our used car and trucks come with a 2-year up to 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's why we super inspect every vehicle.
If you're tired of not finding what you want, try over 100 to choose from and another 600 a day away.
And if you're worried about price, Riverside has some of the lowest prices in the state. And our low prices come with lots of extras.
Selection, price, and warranty. Get it all at the new Riverside, Marquette.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. I said we have some interesting and informative things tonight. Our first thing, I think, satisfies both of those categories. With us are Dr. Larry Skenzel and Dusty Collins, both representing Lake Superior Hospice. Welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Dr. Skenzel, you're the medical director at Lake Superior Hospice. How long have you been there in that position?
I've been there about 10 years now.
Okay, and you said you also work with the Jacob Eddy Center.
Yeah, I work with Jacob Eddy Home for Veterans, and so do a lot of care over there as well.
Excellent. Well, those are both great efforts. We appreciate that. I've been in this community a while. We've heard of Lake Superior Hospice. Most people know what hospice is about, but tell us a little bit about your mission and what you're doing for people in this area.
Yeah, I think we're trying to get the word out that hospice is not about giving up. It's not about the end of your life per se, as much as it is about living every day as well as it can be lived, even when you have a chronic illness. And that's a tough, I think human nature is such that a lot of times we don't want to recognize that there's a lot of help out there in our community that maybe people aren't taking advantage of.
Maybe especially older people might be hesitant to do that?
Absolutely. I think people are worried about asking for help,
Yeah.
but in hospice care, we not only are taking care of the person with the illness, but we're trying to take care of the family because they get tired of all the hard work they're doing. And so we're really trying to make sure that as a unit of care, we're taking care of both patient and the family.
Absolutely.
And
And from a personal standpoint, I just went through this myself, and not in this area, another community, but hospice care was so important to my parents and my siblings, just a tremendous to help to us and comfort, especially for those of us who weren't in the area, and it was just so valuable. I'm sure you're providing the same services. About how many people do you serve in this area?
About 30 patients on an average
At a time?
census.
Yeah. Okay. And how are you funded?
Well, we're a nonprofit organization, so we use Medicare, but if a patient doesn't have any insurance, we also take care of them, and if they have other types of insurance, that we'll take whatever their insurance offers. But the important thing is that no one's ever turned away.
They're not turned away. Okay. Now, Dusty, you're here representing the volunteer end of this. What do volunteers do, and how important are they to this program?
I think they're a big part of the program, and I think there's multiple ways to volunteer. I think a lot of people don't realize that. You can do anything from helping out around the office or visiting patients. And when you visit a patient, you can do anything from a friendly visitor to helping reprieve for the family. I think you can build those relationships with the patient, but also I think, like you said, the family needs it too. Kind of just an extra layer of support. Could be running errands. So there's a wide variety of different ways to volunteer.
A lot of it's just being there.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly. Yep. They're especially for a family, they might need 2 or 3 hours to go have lunch and to maybe get away from things. And,
Yeah.
and that's something that we do also.
I know in my case there were volunteers there around the clock because my dad was nearing the end of life, and there were people there at all times, and that was so valuable to my mom and sisters. So I'm sure you do the same types of things. One of the reasons you're here is because you have your spring volunteer training coming up. It's April 13th and 14th. We have a number to call. In fact, Samantha Collins is the contact. Call 225-7760 to sign up for that. What would you say to someone who might be considering volunteering for hospice?
I would say it's a great training service that's provided. It's on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, and it's extremely informational. You learn, the legalities of what you can and can't do as a volunteer, but I think most importantly, how you deal with the family of the patient themselves. It's really kind of gets you familiar with all of that, and I think
it's obviously necessary to become a volunteer. Go through the training.
It is.
And if you go through the training, you might decide, gee, this isn't for me, but at least check it out.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing I kind of said before, I think, is there's so many different ways to volunteer, whether you want to deal with the patient directly or not. I think that's something that you really get shown to you in the volunteer training.
What's it done for you?
It's done a number of things. The biggest thing, I think, is it's extremely fulfilling. Because you're having an impact in someone's life, whether it's that one-on-one relationship that you do form with the patient, and if it's not that, and you're not able to do that, but helping the families that are going through that. So it's extremely fulfilling, and it's something that I look forward to every day when I do it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. I would encourage anyone who's ever thought about this, or if you have parents that are reaching older ages, it's extremely valuable. Get out there, maybe give a call, and see if this is for you. You can talk to Samantha, the volunteer coordinator at Lake Superior Hospice. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Again, I say, having been through this, I know how important this work is and how valuable it is to people who are going through these end-of-life issues. So good luck with the volunteer program. Dr. Skenzel, thank you so much for your good works and the Jacobetti Center. Gentlemen, thanks for coming. All right, check that out. When we come back, we're going to talk about saving a lake, so stick around.
Guess what? You can get any new or used car financed in the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union for 3.9% APR. New or used. Got your eye on this new Escalade? 3.9%. How about this 75 Gremlin? 3.9%. Looking at this stylish Dodge Dart? 3.9%. How about a new Chevy Cruze? 3.9%. RV, boat, tractor? 3.9%. What about this DeLorean time machine? 3.9%. 3.9% auto loans, new and used at the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union. Stop in and apply today.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for sticking around. We have a couple guests from up the road, as I like to say. With us are Maureen Lewent and Carr Baldwin, and these people are both with the Lake Bancroft committee that is attempting to restore this lake. Maureen, tell us just in general what the mission is here.
Okay, Lake Bancroft has been filling in with sediment, and we have problems with algal blooms and whatnot. There's a great deal of floating,
So the lake is dying, so to speak?
Yes, definitely. Eutrophication, filling in, dying, nitrogen, phosphorus, floating in the water. It has to be removed so that the normal lake biota can be restored.
What would happen if you didn't do anything? It just turns into muck, and there would be no life and no plant or animal life?
It would turn into a swamp.
Yeah, okay. Now, how long have you been working on this?
The committee just started in, the fall?
Just recently, it's come to a head. Carr mentioned this has been something that's been going on for decades, though.
Oh, yes.
The lake has been dying for a while.
I would say eutrophication, probably at least over 30 years, maybe 40.
If people aren't familiar with where Lake Bancroft is, it's on the west side of town, off Lakeshore Drive. It's a cute little lake, not a very big lake, surrounded by some homes and businesses, and there's a little park there.
Gazebo.
I've spent time in the park and the gazebo, so I think it's a valiant effort to make sure that this lake just doesn't wither away. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing you need to make this happen is money. You're trying to get people on board to raise some money and get some volunteer help as well.
Well, The money is very crucial because
Yeah,
we have
it usually
to,
is.
We have to order the pumps. We have to get the basic physical plant together. And if we don't have the money, this project cannot
Doesn't happen.
start.
Sure, sure. Now, what about volunteers? Is there a lot of volunteerism involved?
There will be eventually, once we get things up and going and the lake water is essentially cleared. At that point, we can expand the gardens. We can put a walkway around the lake.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Until the basic clearing of the lake happens, though.
Got to start there. Is there any municipal help with this at all, or is this just all private citizens?
This is private citizens. The city of Ishpeming would love to do this on their own, but they do not have the funds.
Well, this is a good way to do it. We talk about smaller government. That requires people to pick up the ball and do these things. Now, Carr, you're kind of on the technical end of this. You are an engineer, I believe. And what's this going to take? Maureen referred to some equipment that's going to be needed.
We're going to be installing a pump in the lake that will pump about 500 gallons a minute.
And you're going to pump the sediment out, or
actually the water which
and
has a lot of suspended material in it. And as we pump it out, we'll process it through a treatment unit, and then return it to the lake. Okay. And the floating materials floating in and out will settle down, and we'll also tie up the nutrients in there, so it'll keep the plants from growing as
once you get that cleaned out. Will it be self-sustaining, or will you have to kind of work on it periodically?
We'll have to sort of see how it goes. The first year we'll be applying the polymer all summer. Next year, hopefully just occasionally, and then the polymer releases some of the nutrients in time, and it has to be replenished.
What's the source of? Is there something that feeds into this?
No, it's just a water table lake. It's just in a basin. There's no outlet, no inlet.
How deep is it?
It's about 28 feet, the deepest part,
pretty deep
if it wasn't for all the crud that's in there.
Sure. So ideally, you're going to get this lake cleaned up, maybe start the process this summer, hopefully,
yes.
We're looking at, and then return it to a state where it has plant life, animal life. People can, I don't think you don't allow any motorized vehicles on there, but people can canoe, will be able to fish in there and enjoy the park. And it will be returned to, I'm guessing it was once maybe a jewel of the west side of Ishpeming?
Yeah. And it still is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
You drive by it and you're just kind of amazed to see this beautiful, beautiful lake there. But it's...
Now, do you guys have a website or any way to contact or a Facebook page?
You want to go to the City of Ishpeming
From
website.
the City of Ishpeming website. Okay,
yes.
So if people want to help, either in fundraising?
There is a link onto the site. You can click onto Lake Bancroft Project.
Okay. All right.
And if you wish to donate, your money would be coming to the city. What you would do is you would write a check to the City of Ishpeming, and in the memo, put down Lake Bancroft Project. Okay. The money would go to that fund.
Definitely a good cause. I'd like to see in private citizens picking this up, taking care of it. Hopefully the people in Ishpeming and the West End will get behind you and help make this happen.
We're also hitting all the major companies in the area.
Obviously, sure.
But anything from $5 on up would help.
Sure.
So.
Okay. Well, good luck with it.
Thank you very
and
much.
I hope to go over the next time I go and sit in that park. I hope that it's a beautiful, vibrant, small lake. All right, great. Thank you very much. Maureen and Carr, thank you very much. If you get a chance to help them, do so. It's a very a worthwhile project. Okay, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some activities coming up on Northern. A big powwow. You won't want to miss it. All right.
All right, good. Thank you.
Doing business in Upper Michigan is more important than ever. As consumers, supporting the UP economy is something we can all embrace. Each year, Gilbert Dairy buys $7 million of unprocessed milk from UP dairy farmers. We invest and sponsor a wide variety of community events, and our annual payroll adds another $2 million to our fragile economy. Remember that the next time you visit your local grocery store. Gilbert Dairy, pouring $9 million annually into the UP economy, 1 gallon at a time.
Okay, All right, thank you very much. With us is April Lyndella. April's the Director of Native American Studies at Northern. April, welcome back.
Thank you.
You were here before, and we're glad to have you back again. But you're talking now about your annual event, your big powwow. How long have you been doing this?
This is our 20th annual Learning to Walk Together traditional powwow, and it's amazing how time flies.
Why do you call it Learning to Walk Together? What's the significance of that?
That's a great question, because I was actually in the room when we had some community members, some students and staff of NMU when we came up with that name 20 years ago. And the reason why is because we are an academic institution where learning's happening all the time, but also because we want to invite people to come to this event to learn more about our culture and what we have to offer. And then there's just the idea of lifelong learning. Make it for everybody, that everybody's always learning every day. If we can do it together, then we can move forward together.
I like it. It makes sense. And when you're talking about the powwow, and we'll tell you that it's Saturday and Sunday, March 17th and 18th, you invite the general public in because you want them to come in and let's share our commonality, and let's learn about our differences as well.
Absolutely. I think it's just such a great way for us to share a bit of our song, our dance, our food, our traditions, our stories. And it's just such a festive time anyway, and people love to come. They'll walk around, enjoy a little bit, see a little bit of the dancing, hear a bit of the singing. It's just something we do want people to really come and enjoy.
Yeah, and now Native Americans who take part in this, do they come from outside this area as well?
Absolutely. We have singers coming from Northeast Wisconsin, Duluth, Ontario, Lower Michigan. We even have a gentleman, one of our MCs is coming from Florida. So we feel very fortunate that we have a lot of talented people who are going to be coming for the weekend to share their songs, share their dances, and share their knowledge.
Now, there are Native American communities and reservations and Native Americans spread out all across the country. But is this area, is this more of an intense area of population of Native Americans? We feel like it is it?
I think sometimes I feel like it is too, but then I travel and I realize maybe it's not.
We're everywhere.
So I think it is. There's a little bit of us all over the place, but I think we are unique being at NMU, kind of centrally located with 5 tribes around the Upper Peninsula. So we draw on from all of those communities here at our school.
Well, it's great that you celebrate the culture like this. One of the things on your list of activities is the grand entry. There's grand entries on both days. Explain that to me.
You bet. That grand entry is really when we tell people to try to make that, if anything else. And generally what we do is it kicks off a session. And so we'll have an afternoon session on Saturday with grand entry starting at noon. And what grand entry is about, it's that coming together. All the dancers come together.
A lot of pageantry, I would imagine.
Exactly. All in their regalia. There's a bit of a protocol that goes with it. Included in that is the acknowledgement of our tribal flags. Also included in that is our acknowledgement of our veterans. We honor our veterans every chance that we get, and so they're also included as a part of that whole ceremony of grand entry.
Excellent. Now, we got a website. If people want to find out the schedule, they can visit the website. We'll put that on the screen. Where does this take place?
This actually takes place at the Vandeman Arena in the phys ed building where they play volleyball. The Native students have put together an amazing program, not just in the Vandeman, but our feast takes place in the Jacob Eddy Center, and they work with the NMU Culinary Arts students to put together an amazing traditional feast for our participants and anybody who gets a weekend button.
Always good to have food.
Absolutely.
And speaking of weekend buttons, it's free for NMU students with an ID. You can get the weekend pass for $8, a daily pass for $5. April, it sounds like a lot of fun. Again, March 17th and 18th. Make plans to attend either one day or both and learn a little bit about a culture maybe that you're a part of or a culture that is different from yours.
Yep.
Yeah. April, thanks so much. Now, explain to me, help me pronounce this. Great thanks for being here.
Chimiigwech.
What is it?
Chimiigwech.
Chimiigwech. Okay, April Chimiigwech. Thank you very much. All right, thanks for joining us. Good luck with your powwow.
Thanks so much.
April Lyndella from the NMU Center for Native American Studies. Okay, stick around. When we come back, we're going to have 3 divas, or at least 2 of the 3 divas. We'll be right back.
Restaurants. The trendier they are, the more they charge. At Big Boy, we don't chase the latest trend because we believe value never goes out of style. Whether you order from our menu or enjoy one of our hearty buffets, you'll discover that good food doesn't have to be overpriced. Imagine being able to afford to take your whole family out to dinner. It's not a trend, it's what we do at Big Boy.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you very much. As I've mentioned before, we're always trying to present the best of our musicians and singers here in the UP, and we're doing that again tonight. We have some divas with us. Jeff Spencer is the director of a group called the Three Divas of the UP. Jeff, tell us what this is about.
Well, this is like the Three Tenors last year. It's a fundraiser for the First Nighters Club, which provides scholarships to the theater students at Northern. This year it's the Three Divas of the UP. We have three ladies singing the best of Broadway.
We only have two divas here tonight. Three probably would have been too many if we're talking about divas.
If you try to fit three divas at one time in the up front, the place would explode.
When is the show?
It's March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, Saturday.
7:30 at Forrest Roberts Theater. Tickets available?
Through any easy ticket outlet. You can call the box office at Northern. You can get online.
Okay. Tell us who we have here tonight.
Well, tonight we have, the missing diva is Denise Clark. Tonight we have Christy Moe and Leslie Solid.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Three Divas.
I've heard it said that people come into your lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by the wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant world. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for all the things you'll blame me for.
But then I guess we know there's blame to share,
and none of it seems to matter anymore.
Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
All right, I want to thank our guests. We had Dr. Larry Skenzel and Dusty Collins from the Lake Superior Hospice. And let me start again. There we go. All right, I want to thank our guests. We had Dr. Larry Skenzel and Dusty Collins from Lake Superior Hospice, Maureen Lewent and Carr Baldwin from the Lake Bancroft Restoration Committee, April Lyndella from the Native American Studies at Northern Michigan University, and of course the Three Divas. So thanks for sticking around, and join us here again next week on the Doug Garrison Show. All right.